So this is a video I did with a friend of mine who will soon be setting up his channel. And this was something that we just thought to do. Now this won't be replacing my normal videos. This is just another series I'll have here. And it also won't always be me and him. Like, I intend to have other people come on as well. But yeah, this is the first video, and I want to let everyone know it's kind of awkward and disjointed. And there's some background noise and all that. We're kind of figuring it out as we're going along. So yeah, I just want everyone to know it's kind of a rough video going in, so keep that in mind. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of a new series that I'll be doing with my friend of mine, Button Bashing Baddies, who's starting up his YouTube channel pretty soon. We're going to be reviewing comics and things like that throughout this series. And it's funny we're going to be reviewing Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 for this because we've been having the Parker luck ourselves, Nothing's gone right. This is like the 5th time we've tried recording this video. So anyway, without further ado, hopefully nothing bad happens this time. Here is Button Bashing Baddies giving you his take on the first volume of Ultimate Spider-Man. He's new to comics, and I had him read this as one of his first. So
I enjoyed it. So I enjoyed the comic for the most part. It was pretty good. It was a good introduction, showing Peter's character and how he goes into his powers and learns to become really a superhero and not just a person with just powers. And it shows him learning how to use them responsibly and not like a maniac. I know I sound like a drug infomercial, but whatever.
He's getting used to this.
Yeah, I'm pretty new at this, so forgive me if I sound weird or say or whatever a lot. Well,
we're going to develop a style as this goes on.
But Chapter 1, Powerless, it opens up with Osborn just being a dick to everyone.
Yeah, telling them about Greek mythology and Athena. Who wants to hear about that boring crap? We're here to talk about comic books and superheroes.
And it has nothing to do with the Spider-Man at all. But it just shows them being a butt, whatever. And then it showed Peter in high school, and then that's fine. And then it shows them in Osborn Industries walking around for like a page, and then it shows Peter being bit.
Just suddenly. They're just walking around, and it's all like, okay, here's the field trip, we're going to show you around a little bit. Is Peter going to learn some stuff? No. Immediately bit by the spider, blood everywhere, he's throwing up, passing out. It's complete mayhem.
He done for, that's it. There's no Spider-Man story here. It's just a kid getting bit. No. It happens too fast in my opinion. I wish it would show us Peter looking at all the equipment inside of the room.
Yeah, like what they did in the first movie, where it's like, this is the largest electron microscope on the eastern seaboard. Like, pointing out all this stuff about the spiders.
Yeah, I wish it would show him more interested in everything instead of just cutting to that. It really didn't show, in my opinion, Peter's scientific side, and it didn't really show him off as the Peter we've seen in the movies. But that's fine. This is his own.
Yeah, this was before the first movie came out, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, then there you go.
The first origin from Amazing Fantasy 15, it was only like 11 pages long, and they didn't do a lot. They didn't have a lot, of course, with 11 pages, but they put a lot into it. But this is actually my favorite take on the origin, just the way that it's expanded out and all that. And
later on, it shows Aunt May and his uncle being dumb overall, not noticing he's got spider powers.
The thing I like to point out is the one scene where he's got his hand against a wall and he pulls away and he yanks part of the wall off with him. They never notice that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say we're not trashing the book. This is just nitpicking. But yeah, little things like that. And in context to the rest of the Ultimate Universe, this is around the time when mutants are starting to really come out, and there's a kind of some mutant hysteria and all that. So I think they kind of be on the lookout for that.
Well, no, they're just like, he's a normal teenage boy. Got a few hiccups in him right now, but that hormones and stuff. But whatever.
Oh boy.
But got more than hormones in him. Peter, it shows him also in this chapter as a normal teenage boy. It doesn't show him as anybody else, just himself really. It doesn't show him as somebody who's destined for great things or anything better than other people. It shows him as a normal normal kid wanting a normal life that just gets bit.
That's the great thing about Peter Parker is that he just completely fell backwards. And he's just a normal guy who just fell backwards on some powers and makes some mistakes and has to learn some lessons.
And then Chapter 2, Growing Pains, it shows him scared of his powers a little bit. Him getting used to them, learning how to maybe climb up a wall or two. I like that chapter. And then Chapter 3, Wannabe, it shows Mary Jane being a prick to Peter a little bit, which is both a bad and good thing, because most teenage girls are hormones. Like they have hormones in them, like going everywhere, just like the guys. So it shows her being
a lot of teen drama in this because it's completely the high school years.
Yeah, but being older, I really didn't care for it. But I can see the angle they're going with. But I mean, she just blows them off because she wants to work on a science project.
There's going to be a lot of stuff later in the series with the two of them having troubles, and you'll see what I mean. But like it gets a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, he had to go wrestle and make some money. His family's being sued.
You know, he's got a lot of stuff on his mind, MJ.
Which speaking of being sued, I did like Flash's parents. That's his name.
Yeah, Flash.
Flash
Thompson.
I like Flash's parents suing because that really shows how a lot of stuck up rich people would be to with their like little boy who's kind of who had the butt to Peter. And then I also like how it shows Osborn saying, "No, we'll take it up and we'll look at Peter from afar and see how he is." I like that a lot. And then Chapter 4, it shows him getting fired from his wrestling job because some money gets, I guess, stolen.
Yeah, and it's kind of implied that the guy that accuses him was the one stealing it.
Yeah. But it showed him being a big baby and then yelling at his uncle and aunt.
Yeah, what he means by that is this is kind of like a different thing done with Peter, where he's always been shown to be like the perfect kid, but now he's getting angry and shouting at his aunt and uncle and taking off, and we never really seen something like that done with him.
I wish it would have shown him keeping cool, but again, he's a normal teenager. He's not like a grown adult knowing how to communicate perfectly. And then Chapter 5, Life Lessons, it shows his uncle getting murdered, which I enjoyed Peter learning. With great power becomes great responsibility. I liked him taking his uncle's advice to heart in this scene. I kind of didn't really like how it showed his uncle being murdered. I wish they would have showed a more angle on it, because when I first read it, I didn't know where the killer came from until I looked back on it. I thought he actually came in through the window that Peter left out of to go wrestle.
Yeah, but they mentioned that he came in from the back door.
Yeah.
So might have forgotten about that or something.
Probably, I think I did, but I wish that scene would have been fleshed out a little bit more. In my opinion, my biggest problem is some of the scenes should have been fleshed out a little bit more. But again, still good. And then Chapter 6, Big Time Superhero, the fight scene with them in the high school is really cool, except for one big problem. They have a flashback after he gets ready. I'm like, you couldn't have shown the flashback like as a normal scene of him just getting suited up. But no, you got to flash back to it when he's all suited up and everything. Like at the high school when he gets...
Yeah, that's really weird, where it Mary Jane says, "Wait, where's Peter?" And then it says, 2 minutes ago. And then also there's like a little continuity error because he says, this can't be how Captain America does it.
Yeah.
But we see in the Ultimates, Captain America hasn't been brought out of the ice yet.
So it makes no sense. Apparently he's got future vision. That's something Peter Parker has in this series. Not really, but
I can see the future.
I like the fight scene with the incredible, not the whole Green Goblin, that kid. I liked him a bunch. I found it weird he was throwing fire instead of the bombs, which whatever. It's just a new take on the Green Goblin, which is pretty cool. It makes him seem very menacing, in my opinion. And I liked how Peter's like, I gotta get him. Doesn't he try to get him away from the scene?
Yeah, he takes him away from it, and then Goblin like grabs him, and they smash through the wall. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel about like this design for the Green Goblin? Not just him shooting the fire, but like him being basically the Hulk.
I liked it. His coloring's obviously a little weird, being whitish, grayish, and
then he goes full green later.
Which I thought that was a little weird, but he looked menacing, which I really liked. It didn't show...
Instead of like, in his first appearance, like they actually say, does the Green Goblin make you smile? Does he look cute? Does he make you want to laugh? Well, no, he's actually very threatening, and it's like, okay, he looks kind of goofy, but his actions are terrible. This guy killed Gwen Stacy, but no, like in this, like he's straight up terrifying the minute you see him.
Yeah, like he just shows that he's a villain. Like it's. Yeah, I liked it. I liked him. I liked his design and everything. I liked his fire abilities. It's pretty cool. And then Chapter 7, Secret Identity, I thought it was a nice way to close it out, and to wrap it all up, and to also show that the Green Goblin was going to come back.
Yeah. All right. So is that about it? So how do you feel about the artwork?
Artwork, I like.
Mark Bagley. You like it a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. He's maybe my favorite Spider-Man artist. He did a lot of the work on the main book in the 90s, and I've got a few of his issues. He's done a lot of good stuff. So yeah, we're pretty much in agreement. We really like it. I kind of like the design of the back spider in this series, where like the legs kind of touch.
Oh, yeah.
He did that too in the 90s also. So it's just a really neat design. I love the big eyes on Spider-Man's mask. And as for the writer Bendis, you kind of weren't too into his dialogue all that much.
His wording, and also doing flashbacks, and then them showing the flashbacks that were actually in the comics, and then doing a flashback where they change around the words. I didn't really appreciate too much. And then them repeating like weird words, like they'll say "why," and then 2 seconds later they'll like speak and they'll say a full sentence, and they'll be like "why," like they'll
yeah.
It's just weird.
That's his style. It's kind of hit or miss with a lot of people. Sometimes it bothers me. Sometimes I'm like, So just overall thoughts on this volume. It's pretty good.
It's a good introduction, definitely.
Yeah. The thing with this is, I think it is a fantastic introduction to Spider-Man, but my personal thing is I'm not as into high school Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I still like this series a lot, but I would have wished that, because he never grows up in the series, I would have wished that they would have eventually had him, go to college and all that. That's when Spider-Man gets a bit more interesting to me, but for what it is, this is really good, and it is a good starting point for Spider-Man. Alright, so this was the first episode of Comic Conference. And we'll be coming at you with the next one at a later date. Hopefully next week. Won't make any promises, but it will be on the next volume. And eventually we're going to talk about stuff like anime, Dragon Ball Z in particular. Because I'm trying to get him into it, but we're having difficulties. Because I'm telling him he's got to watch Kai. He's got to watch Kai, but Funimation's site doesn't actually have the full episodes. So we're having some problems. And the reason I'm saying Kai is just for the pacing. Original Z is great too. But anyway, so thank you for listening. And catch you next time on the next video.
And again, my name's Button Bashing Batty. Just call me whatever you want. But thank you for watching. I know I'm still getting used to it, so forgive me on that. But I'm sure I'll come around. But yeah.